I think it is a critical first step in making a healthcare system that works for all Americans. It's not going to be the only thing. We're still going to have adjustments that have to be made to further reduce costs.
It was an unbelievably historic bill, but apparently just a first step.
The healthcare debate is done. Long live the healthcare debate. Top Line starts right now.
Hello and welcome to ABCNews.com's Top Line. I'm David Chalian.
And I'm Rick Klein.
Each weekday we're bringing you the very latest political headlines, today from the White House.
That's right. And Twitter.com/The Note. I'm not on the Twitter machine right now, but I'll be there later. We'll catch up with all your tweets and more as we enjoy this lovely backdrop.
Get us started. What's your top line today?
All right. Reconciled. The last piece of the health care bill is now law. President Obama affixing his signature to the reconciliation package, those fixes that passed in the House and the Senate. And now, of course, the campaign begins all anew. David, we were talking about a almost never-ending discussion over the costs and the benefits of this. Both sides fully engaged. The president will be back out on the road before you know it.
Politically, I'm not sure which party will be happier to hear that this is just the first step and the debate continues. Steele's risque RNC. You cannot make this stuff up, folks. The RNC has fired a staffer now who approved this expense that was submitted for a young fundraising event for the RNC at a bondage house in West Hollywood. This is just another huge headache for Chairman Steele, who's now going to face more criticism from the poobahs of the Republican Party here in town.
And it further erodes his standing among the Republican Party brokers. This is a man who's really been cut out of the relevant conversations inside the Republican Party, and each one of these stories gets weirder and weirder, and it's just a more difficult thing for them to have to fend off. Lonely at the top. Only two states nationwide have qualified for the first round of the Education Department's Race to the Top program. The Education Secretary, Arne Duncan, making clear that he is serious about these high standards. This is really going to kick into gear the race for the next round. A lot of states are going to be trying to buff up their applications. There's been a little bit of blowback from the unions, but most folks saying he was serious when he meant it.
And again, this is a policy that the president has proposed and that Arne Duncan is pushing, that Newt Gingrich has signed on to and supported. This is actually one of the areas that we've seen of bipartisanship. And finally, a little bit of a self-indulgent final headline. Happy birthday to us. Yes, Top Line, our humble little webcast here, is 1 year old today. And that's why we're bringing it to you from the White House.
And we can light a candle to celebrate here from the White House. I love it.
And we are joined for the anniversary from a special guest, Senior White House Advisor, David Axelrod. Thank you very much.
I came for the goodie bag. I hope I get one.
You're going to get a goodie bag. I have no doubt about it. I'm going to start, David. As you know, as we're speaking, the president is signing this fixes bill, the reconciliation bill, into law. That second step of the health care. But USA Today Gallup out with a new poll this morning that is showing us that pluralities of Americans say that this bill is going to make coverage and quality of care worse for them. And listen to this, by 50 to 21%, David, families predict it's going to make their costs higher. That's not a close divide. That's a huge margin. Exactly on something you guys cited in pushing this bill. Why are the American people not buying into this?
Well, David, the program hasn't taken effect yet, and that's why they're not buying into it. I didn't expect these numbers to turn around overnight. We always knew that there were divisions and concerns surrounding this, but what's going to happen this year is millions of businesses, small businesses, are going to get tax credits for their health care for their employees. Kids with pre-existing conditions are finally going to get coverage. They won't be denied. Children over up to age 26 can be on their parents' health care, and end to lifetime caps on what insurance companies will provide, and these restrictive annual limits. So senior citizens will be receiving $250 to help reduce their prescription drug costs in that so-called donut hole. And I think as the American people become familiar with what this program is and what it isn't, they're going to be very, very happy with it. Every bit of polling suggests that the major tenets of the program are very popular. It's just that people aren't aware that they are part of the program.
But are their kitchen table costs going to go down? That's what the concern is here,
right? Look, obviously, over time, their costs will go down. They're certainly going to be less than what they expected. For those small businesses who get up to 35% tax credits for the health care for their employees, they're going to go down. For the senior citizens who get that $250 check, they're going to go down. For the family who now doesn't have to carry two policies in order to get their child with pre-existing conditions covered or pay out of pocket for that child, and deal with those kinds of issues, they're going to go down. And over time, the cost of the system is going to grow at a much less rapid pace.
David, as this rolls out, the president says this is a critical first step in these two pieces of legislation that are going to affect. What are the second steps and the third steps? And are things already in place? Have you already set the wheels in motion to be addressing the things that have to come next?
Well, I think that the second step is the implementation of the program, and the president's spending a great deal of time with his staff, with Secretary Sebelius and others, in working through the implementation of this plan. We have a great responsibility now, which is to get this right, and he is committed to doing that. And as with any program, I mean, there'll be adjustments along the way. Nobody expects this to come off perfectly, and we'll learn from experience. But the foundation has now been laid for real, genuine health insurance reform.
Question about businesses. We see these reports, AT&T saying this tax deduction that they get for offering prescription drugs to retirees, that tax deduction is being reduced, and therefore it's going to cost AT&T $1 billion. 3M is another company, and they say this is going to have an impact on, we're not going to be able to hire people. It's going to have an impact on job creation. Isn't that an adverse effect of what you wanted here? And is there a way to work with them that you can tweak this a little bit?
Well, look, I don't think that will be the effect. The fact is that they were getting a tax benefit for a subsidy that they were receiving for paying for retiree health benefits, and so they were getting benefits two ways on this. But when you look at the overall package, including reinsurance programs, so to help them cover the costs of their retiree health plans and so on, there will be great benefit to corporations. I think over time the savings will be much greater than any minor loss, because they don't get to take a tax break for a subsidy they already get.